So in Lower Gibsons, if you know the town at all, there's this new big old red building where the Persephone boat used to be. There's live, work, loft kind of places. There's going to be a dentist. There's going to be a tea room. But right on the corner is a thing I'm really interested in for selfish reasons. It's the Station Wine Bar. And Alexis is who I'm meeting up with. Side door. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, you're down there behind the bar.
I was looking for something.
Look at this place.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
What's crazy is how Alexis and her co-owners, including her husband, Stafford Lumley, figured out how to get a wine bar squeezed into this space. There's a main floor with a big bar, then a tiny kitchen, an even more tiny upstairs, 2 patios, and that's it. The liquor license sets indoor capacity at 30 people. I like how you have behind the bar, instead of having a mirror, you just have a sign that says mirror.
No, of course. Why put a real mirror there? That would cost more money.
So, it's been about a year since this place was purchased, and the windows were papered over with a sign that says pouring soon. Look, I'm just gonna clip this on while we're getting set up.
Okay.
And ever since, that sign has taunted us. Well, it's taunted me anyway. When I popped in late November, they still weren't quite ready to pour. Electrical work was still underway. There were boxes of random things everywhere, cables and construction gear here and there and there and there. You know, the kind of mess you make when you're really close to finishing a huge project.
Yeah, it looked like a hot mess a little bit, but it always looks that way at the end of one of the trades.
Why don't you tell me, what are we looking at? What's down here?
All
We're
right.
on the main floor right now,
Main floor. Front entrance.
on the corner.
Bar and well. Every one of these bar fridges looks like a normal bar fridge, but it's not. It's custom because we're too narrow. So yeah, it's good. The bar is perfect. We get the dream of every bar is to have a glass washer, which I have.
Yeah,
Hopefully it limits breakage.
that'd be nice.
It'd be amazing. Check this though.
Alexis has been working in the service industry for years, so she knows a thing or two about glass breakage. She reaches for a box of wine glasses when I'm there, so we can share a bottle of wine. I mean, it's on theme, right? And as she's doing this, she tells me about her most recent glass-breaking near-death experience.
I ran some of these over the other day. Wine glasses.
You ran over them?
Literally packed 7 boxes of wine glasses into my garage on the side, and then rolled up hot and heavy. And I was like, oh, no one can get by my truck. So then I backed it down, and I just inched it over a little bit and came up, and I just crunched the edges of like 2 boxes and knocked them all over.
Was that just like the latest of a list of things that have happened and you trying to open this place?
Oh yeah, I thought it was so apropos when I walked outside, and I was just like, all my wine glasses are on their side. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, don't panic, don't panic. And I just like picked a box up, and it was just like broken glass, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, okay, bring every box inside. And then I put them inside. I'm like, okay, don't be mad. And then I open them up, and I'm just like, everything's okay. Only this, I think I lost 4 whites and 4 reds in total.
Glasses, not boxes.
Yeah, that was a good one. It was a moment for sure.
I'm Dominic Girard, and this is Secret Sunshine, a podcast about the folks who make the most of living on the Sunshine Coast. This episode, pour one for Alexis. This podcast exists thanks to the help of founding sponsor, The Cube. It's an art studio and retail boutique in Gibsons. It's a shop filled with art-inspired goods and goods that inspire art. You'll hear more from them a little later in the episode. Find The Cube on Gibsons Way and online at thecube.ca. That's Cube with a K. I have a soft spot for local people launching local businesses, and you're going to meet a whole bunch of them as this podcast grows. I also have a soft spot for good wine, And so I thought that this would be a good little story about what it takes to build a new bar in Lower Gibsons. But as with most good little stories, there's more to it than that. There's a lot more writing on this for Alexis than just trying to open a new bar. Behind it all, there's this dream that she's held on to for well over a decade, a dream that now keeps her up at night. This is a question that gets asked all the time in interviews, but I feel like it has a slightly different connotation in this one, which is, given everything going on, Alexis, how are you? How are you
Pretty
doing?
good.
Yeah?
Yeah, there are certainly a lot of days of where like super high stress. A lot of high stress days. That's a character trait though.
It's a character trait?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That's the way I'm structured.
You're a high stress individual?
I worry about a lot of things. But we are full tilt. There's only one way to move forward, and it's by fear.
Really?
I guess so.
Has it been a full year of fear, or are you just being
Oh, there's lots of ups and downs. There's lots of hiccups, but I think in general, like, I think the biggest thing about building a brand new restaurant, we didn't buy a restaurant and reno it.
Yeah.
We bought a space that was empty and had nothing in it but some pipes sticking out of the floor. The beauty of it is you get to walk into this when we open the doors and know this building is built ironclad. Even though it might have been an eye-opener, it's peace of mind now.
Yeah. Should we pour some wine?
Oh, yeah. It's ready.
What are we drinking?
We are drinking a Syrah Mourvèdre French blend. Unfortunately, I brought white wine glasses, but
One step at a time.
hey, any port in a storm.
Are you obsessed with wine?
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, love it.
Why?
I don't know. It's like romantic, delicious, exciting. I went to school for forestry, and then after a little spell in forestry, the industry took a turn for the worst. 17 years ago, the housing market crash in the US. So everybody was losing their jobs, and now I had to reevaluate. And I thought to myself, what do I really, really love? Wine. And so I started going to school for wine. And that's where it started. I mean, it's not where it started. I obviously love it, but that's where the education started.
You said it's romantic.
Yeah, like, I don't know, it's exciting. Every single glass, every different grape, every time I taste something really amazing, I'm excited.
How does working in forestry prepare you to run a wine bar?
That is a really good question. Not sure. I'm going to say, even when I was in forestry, I don't think I was ever cut out to be in a restaurant. I don't think I knew I was.
Really?
Yeah. Seems like such an outgoing person's job, a socialite job. Like, you just get to I don't know. I don't think I thought of myself as that kind of person. And when forestry was at its roughest time and I had to re-educate myself in wine, I didn't know what to do. So I got a job in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And
At the keg?
At the keg. And the first day of training behind the bar, because I'm a little bit older than the standard keg person, she got very busy. And she just started barking orders, and I was just pouring wine, serving guests, doing everything. Had never worked in a restaurant before. And at the end of that shift, she went up, she goes, "This one's mine. I'm keeping her. She's behind the bar. This person is a bar person." I was like, holy, I didn't see this in myself.
You didn't even know.
No, I didn't know. I didn't know I had it in me, but it was great.
How did you feel in the middle of that shift?
Loved it. Behind the bar, I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely best spot.
Why?
Control.
Are you a control freak?
No, Stafford is. No, but it's how you can make sure everything runs perfect.
Yeah.
I feel like if that falls apart, the whole restaurant falls apart.
Do you remember back in the glory days when this was going from dream to starting a project?
It was COVID.
The idea for this goes back to COVID.
100%. We were going to buy this space pre-COVID.
Wow.
And
so the moment they announced plans to build this building, you were already thinking about it?
Yeah. And then COVID happened and everything was halted. And there's that point where we probably were like, is it going to happen after a year or two? Also, you're struggling with the current restaurant, waiting to see if everything's going to come back. So you just stopped thinking about things because you're already doing just takeout and
Just holding on.
holding on, 100% holding on. And then you get open and then you get shut down again. Then you open again, then you get shut down again. And so finally, when it came to fruition and it was time to buy, I don't know, we must be crazy. We're like, let's do it. Let's
Why?
stay doing it.
Why?
I don't know. Something this town needs, I think. It's what I've always been saying. Since I first came here, I'm like, God, I just wish there was a wine bar.
How long ago was that?
First time 17 years ago.
Right away, you're like, where's the wine bar?
Yeah. And then the next time I came back was, I would say it might be 12 years ago. And it's for forestry. Again, I came back and met my friend. And all I could talk about, I'm like, I need to build a wine bar here. And then I don't know, we just kept talking about it, Stafford and I. And then he jumped in with 2 feet and I just ran after him. I'm like, okay, we're doing this.
So it's one of those situations where one person has the dream and the other person says, I'm going to make sure that you make that happen for
I
yourself.
almost feel that way sometimes, like weird Cinderella feeling sometimes where I'm like, okay, we just are hustling around here doing our thing.
Yeah.
And he's, no, we're building a wine bar. You're going to run this wine bar. I'm like, okay.
Do you remember what the original lunch window was? When were you thinking?
Well, I think like Stafford has lofty views. A lot of the times he likes to keep people like, just tell them like the most positive thing he can.
Okay.
So he's like, oh yeah, we'll be open by summer. Yeah. And then.
Did you believe that?
No. Because we didn't even get a building permit till March.
Yeah.
And then you cannot put like more than one or maybe 1.5 trades in here at the same time.
Right, because it's small and cozy. Yeah.
We were definitely saying, yeah, summer, yeah, fall, yeah. And meanwhile, you walk in here and you're like, soon.
Which is what it says on the window outside. Pouring soon.
So smart.
The one thing you could predict.
Yeah, soon.
What kind of setbacks happened in the process that you did not see coming that really threw you for a loop?
I got to say we're lucky we didn't open in the summer because we had a bit of a seagull problem.
What do you mean?
I love natural wines. Those are my favorites. I love the fermented flavor. I love seeing that sediment. You just know it's just way more healthy. I'm a little bit of a nerd about nutrition. So yeah, I feel better drinking the natural wines.
Let's take a second here and check in with Secret Sunshine's founding sponsor, The Cube. It's co-owned by Jill Pilon and Jody Youngren. And I pulled Jody aside the other day, and I asked her how she feels about wine. If you had to pick something in this shop that you would pair with a glass of wine, what would it be and why?
It would absolutely be our Maurice Belgium chocolate. It's one of the original chocolates ever made in Belgium from 1845, and their great-grandchildren have continued the tradition. It's organic and beautiful, and it's beautifully packaged, so it makes for a wonderful gift, and it's delicious. It's definitely a bestseller.
And that's an example of the kind of things that you curate for your shop.
Correct. Yes. We're really excited about working with families and special products.
What's one more thing you could pair with that chocolate and that wine that you can get at the Cube right now?
Ooh, a beautiful McCalzone wool blanket from PEI. They've been making these blankets for over 100 years. It's the last operating woolen mill in Atlantic Canada. They're 100% extra virgin wool. They're luxe, cozy, beautiful, and oh my God, nothing better than to wrap up in one of those blankets, enjoy some chocolate and a beautiful glass of red wine.
Blankets, chocolates, plants, household goods, great art. It's all there waiting for you to find and buy at the Cube. Go check them out. Tell Jody and Jill that Secret Sunshine sent you, or find them online at thecube.ca. Cube with a K. Now, let's get back to Alexis and find out how building a bar can sometimes feel like it's for the birds.
The seagulls found this brand new building and decided to hang out up there.
Did they move in?
They were covering the roof. So we have invested much time and money to put seagull deterrents up there. So if we had opened in the summer with the patio and food, it would have been a natural disaster. And we couldn't have foreseen that.
No.
So that's a gift. Like, that's a gift that we got, that was averted. And we figured that out after we were started building.
Did you have a seagull interaction in that time?
No. I only came out here at night
Right.
to sit up on the patio and dream about what will be.
I mean, you were opening no matter what, obviously.
Totally.
But how close to despair did you get in the whole process?
Like, how many dreams of divorce, you mean? I'm just kidding.
Let's dig into that.
Oh, it's not therapy. No, it's just because we're at the mercy of everyone else.
Sure.
It's not despair, but it's kind of frustration. You need people to show up and come at a certain time and they can't. Or people were still getting sick. And everybody's stretched thin on the coast, I think, in terms of trades. They have a lot of work that they have to do, and this is a big job. And they're all still coming here, showing up, staying late. Every one thing hinges on the last being completed. The last little bit of electrical, the last little bit of lacquer on the tables, pictures on the walls. We have custom wallpaper we're putting up. All of that is going to happen at the last minute. You have to keep plugging forward no matter what. I'm like, I love the small victories. That I think those are the things that have been awesome all the way through the year, is that every time we come in here and we finish painting a section, we got the tables in, we got the banquettes, we have a preliminary wine list made. Every small victory, you just feel like, oh, yes, we could do this.
It is a small space.
Yeah.
And it's a small town.
Yes.
And traffic is in the summer.
Yes.
And what are restaurant margins? 3-5%?
They're very rough. Yep, they are. You know what? It's like most of these restaurants. Why is every restaurant in Gibson's closed all winter? Or at least for 3 weeks to a month? Nobody's in there.
Right.
And the Gibsons may complain about why people aren't open. But when they come down and they're the only one in the restaurant, that's why. Sorry.
Yeah.
But we'll be open.
How do you feel about that? I mean, you wanted to open this summer, obviously, but now you're opening, as you just say, basically in the dead of winter.
Totally. I think all of this has happened fortuitously for us, because if we had opened in the summer with some of the growing pains like the seagulls and some of the other things, I think the struggles would have been a lot. But opening now, I think the timing is perfect.
It has to be too, right?
Even if it's not, I'm not changing it.
That's right. I wonder if it's giving locals kind of an opportunity to sort of own it in a way.
I hope so.
Yeah?
I mean, obviously, I want all of our tourism to come here.
Fill the patios in the summer, please.
Completely.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? But I also want all the people who have been waiting for this place to open. I feel like I really want them to, they get first dibs here in the winter, and I want them to know that I know who they are and that I'll do everything I can for them.
You said earlier that you thought maybe like that whole restaurant world, wine world, whatever, might not be for you because that's for social people. And here you are a few years later, and you seem to be thriving in it.
Yeah, it's like something, sometimes I don't think we always know that you have it in you. I don't know. I still am a quiet person.
Yeah.
I need to like go home after work and be alone.
Yeah.
Or every day after work, I have to go to a different restaurant and sit down at someone else's bar and have a glass of wine before I go home and decompress. But I still love it.
How are you going to turn off after running this place?
That I don't know, because honestly, I've found a way my entire life to keep myself on day shifts. And it's not possible at this restaurant.
Yeah.
It'll be quite a change. But I mean, nights are not late here.
Right.
It's Gibson's. You're home at 10:30, 11.
It's wild to me that you've been thinking about this for over a decade. Back when it was just a thing you could say. Wouldn't it be nice if, I wish there was a...
Yeah.
But now you are actually sitting in a booth of the thing that's about to be open. That's 12 years of thinking about it, and then suddenly, wait, no, I'm actually doing it.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Really, really. It's like all my nerves. Luckily, they only come out at 3 a.m. But then in the daylight, I'm just like, this is going to be good. This is going to be exciting. I am going to be on fire in here. But there's always I have always a small risk of failure in myself. I'm like, I want to impress the guest. I want the guest to feel good. I want to make sure everybody's happy. I want to deliver. So that's my biggest fear, I guess. And it's silly because I know it will happen, but that's what I lose sleep over. I want to make it the greatest for everyone. That sounds stupid, maybe a little bit like goofy, but it's true. I just like, what if they're disappointed in the wine list? What if these people don't get what they want? Is everybody going to go home and say, well, call yourself a wine bar?
But taking all the people out, the fact that we're in a booth, the fact that there's a kitchen and there's a bar with a perfectly designed well and a nice space outside and 2 patios.
Yeah.
One of the first things you told me today was wine is romantic. So let's bring it back around. What's romantic about what you are up to for you?
When we get to open our doors and start actually serving wine, talking wine, that is where the romance will be. This is the unromantic part. Cleaning and removing I don't know what all those boxes of wire are back there, but we'll have to get rid of those. I've had millions of wine tastings. My wine reps have been next level. Even building the list is shockingly difficult just because I want to make it well-rounded to please everybody, but I don't want to be pedestrian. I don't want to just do the obvious things. And I sat down with one of my reps the other day and he goes, isn't this the fun part? I said, fun part? I have been stressing about this for like months. All I dream about is wine. All I think about is wine. I'm like, oh my God, did I put a Suave on there? Wake up in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh, which California cab can I put on? That is kind of romantic because there's no romance that isn't without strife.
But I love how you say what you want is for everyone else to find joy in this space.
Yeah.
And that in exchange gives you joy.
Yeah. And it is what I wanted, exactly what I wanted. The freedom to buy whatever wine I want, to have wine tastings, to have wine dinners, to sit here and jam about wine with people, to make people try new things, to push my passion onto other unwilling suspects.
Well,
may I?
Please. Why is this place called The Station?
Oh, I guess anybody who's from Gibson's, who's been here a long time, knows what this was. It was a Shell gas station.
Right on this corner.
Right on this corner. Right here. Yeah. So it's an homage to what the place was for anybody who can recall. And that's why we use the shell.
The clamshell.
Yeah. Tried to change it a little.
It's a scallop.
Yeah. But we tried to change it a little bit just so we didn't get sued. But yeah, it's supposed to be like the station, the gas station, but nobody wants to use the word gassed when you're talking about wine.
Yeah. You know what I like about the name that you described it to me? Because it's referencing a gas station that used to be here. Mm-hmm. That's a blue-collar space. And wine, everybody drinks wine, obviously. Yeah. But wine may not have the same blue-collar vibe to it when you say wine bar.
Yeah.
And you're kind of smashing them together, which, I don't know, to me speaks to the culture of Gibson's, the culture of the coast.
Totally. And even think I was in forestry for most of my time here. Like most of the people I know in forestry ask me, okay, well, is there going to be something other than wine? I'm like, yeah, there will be beer. You have to come visit me. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. But you're going to try my wine.
But I'm going to make you try wine.
It's interesting to think about how the needs of a community change over time and how those needs are shaped by the people providing things. In this case, Alexis thinks a wine bar is something that Lower Gibson's needs. It's right there in the name, the station. There was a time where what Gibson's needed on this corner was a gas station. Later on, Gibson's decided it needed a spot to display an old boat from an old TV show. And now, Gibson's gets to decide if 12 years ago, Alexis was right. If this town needs a wine bar. Secret Sunshine is produced by me, Dominic Gerard, at Handover Media. Additional sound design and mixing from Gaetan Harris at Syrup Sound. The show's original music is composed and performed by Max Henry. One more round of high fives to the show's founding sponsor, The Cube Artist Studio and Retail Boutique, thecube.ca, Cube with a K. And hey, if you're curious about sponsoring Secret Sunshine, find the link to contact me on the show's website, secretsunshine.ca. Spread that website around, by the way. Let everybody know there's a new podcast in town that wants to tell stories about and connect with people living here on the Sunshine Coast.